33 photos of Allied soldiers narrowly escaping the Nazis at Dunkirk. Soldiers gather on the beach in advance of evacuation. May 1940. British soldiers wait on an improvised pier made out of vehicles in order to evacuate Dunkirk during low tide. June 1940. Allied troops, mostly British, wade out to a fleet of military and civilian ships waiting to transport the men to England from Dunkirk. June 1940. Destroyers filled with British troops return home to Dover, England on May 31, 1940. A soldier of the British Expeditionary Force, arriving back from Dunkirk, is greeted affectionately by his girlfriend. May 31, 1940. Allied troops wait on the beach ahead of the evacuation. Date unspecified. Crew members of a French destroyer, sunk by mine at Dunkirk, are hauled aboard a British vessel from their sinking life raft. May 1940. The crew of a London-based tugboat, one of the many small craft that took part in the evacuation, pause for a cup of tea. June 5, 1940. Thousands of soldiers line up on the beach at Dunkirk as they prepare for the evacuation. May 1940. A British soldier helps a wounded man drink while waiting to be evacuated from Dunkirk. June 1940. Children rush up to a train carrying British soldiers back from Dunkirk. Date unspecified. 3 men forced to abandon ship climb the ladder let down by a rescue vessel. May 1940. While bombs explode nearby, British soldiers shoot their rifles at attacking aircraft during a rearguard action just after the evacuation. June 20, 1940. A woman sits on the beach alongside abandoned military equipment at La Panne, near Dunkirk, just after the evacuation. June 1940. A British soldier, carrying a German rifle brought back as a souvenir, arrives home following the Dunkirk evacuation. Date unspecified. Refugees make their way to safety amid aerial bombardment at Dunkirk soon after the evacuation. June 12, 1940. An improvised pier, used by soldiers to board rescue vessels, made out of military trucks that had been driven into the sea. June 5, 1940. Abandoned vehicles sit on the beach at La Panne, near Dunkirk, after the British retreat. June 1940. A British soldier takes a drink as he's welcomed home from Dunkirk. May 1940. A woman walks among the destroyed buildings of Dunkirk following the evacuation. June 1940. British troops look back at the French coast from the deck of a steamer that is taking them back to England after the Dunkirk evacuation. June 1940. Members of the British Expeditionary Force, BEF, withdraw to England from Dunkirk. Date unspecified. Members of the British Expeditionary Force arrive back in Britain with a Union Jack following the evacuation. June 1940. A British ship rescues soldiers from a landing craft sunk during an operation near Dunkirk. May 1940. Men row a lifeboat carrying a wounded soldier on a stretcher out to a destroyer for evacuation from Dunkirk harbor. June 1940. The destroyed buildings of Dunkirk just after the evacuation. June 1940. French and British troops taken prisoner by the Germans at Dunkirk. May 1940. Allied soldiers crowd onto a ship during the Dunkirk evacuation. British prisoners and German soldiers at Dunkirk. Date unspecified. French soldiers who had been fighting the rear guard action arrive in England after having been evacuated from Dunkirk. June 5, 1940. German soldiers rest at Dunkirk. June 4, 1940. Members of the British forces arrive home by train after being evacuated from Dunkirk. May 31, 1940.